Picking your first destination as a digital nomad is simultaneously super important and not important at all. It's important because if you pick wrong, you're gonna hate it and you're gonna give up. And it's not important because if you get it right, it's just gonna be the first place that you visited. I'm Mike and I've been a digital nomad for the better part of a decade. In this video, we're gonna give you 7 destinations that are particularly good for first destinations for digital nomads. And stay tuned to the end, because I'm sure that we've thrown a few in here that you probably would not expect. So before we get started, I'm gonna give you a general framework for how we're approaching this. In the future, we're gonna come out with a video about how to find your perfect country, but for the purposes of this one, speaking generally, here's the framework we're gonna use. The name of the game here is easy and pleasing. So with this, we're gonna consider the following elements: cost of living, infrastructure, like internet and accommodation and everything, safety, stability, culture and lifestyle, and fun. So without further ado, let's just jump in and go through the 7 top countries to go to first as a new digital nomad. Quick thing to note, this list isn't in any particular order, but let's just jump in. First one, Thailand. Thailand is amazing. It's relatively cheap. You can go and they have plenty of infrastructure. The internet is very good. There's a lot to explore there and there's a lot to do. Now, Thailand has been getting a ton of tourists and digital nomads for years now, so they're very used to it, and the entire economy is kind of developed to cater to the needs of digital nomads. There's plenty of co-working spaces, there's great internet infrastructure, there's plenty of cheap accommodation. The good thing about Thailand is it's become somewhat of an expat and digital nomad hub, so you're not gonna have any trouble making friends or finding people that speak your language. Next on the list is Portugal. Portugal is a country that's actually invested in creating one of the most popular digital nomad visas in the world. So it's no surprise that their infrastructure is built out. The cost of living, although over the past few years has started to creep up, is still somewhat manageable, and there's plenty to do in terms of fun. There are constant meetups, nights out, bar crawls, and it's a super interesting country to explore on its own. There's tons of history, nature, just about anything you could want. Next is a personal favorite of mine. It's Mexico. Mexico is just an amazing country. The food is amazing. The people are warm. There's so much to explore, from the West Coast in places like Oaxaca, Puerto Vallarta, and Puerto Escondido, to the East Coast in the Yucatan Peninsula with Playa del Carmen and Tulum and Merida, all the way to the center with Mexico City. Tons and tons and tons of digital nomads are flocking to Mexico because it's reasonably priced, although, like Portugal, the prices are starting to go up. There's good infrastructure and everyone knows what they're doing there. It's very easy to get involved in that community there. And the good news is, if you're American, you're working the same time zone. So it's not like you're gonna have to adjust very much in terms of your working hours. Next on the list is Bali, Indonesia. This place has absolutely exploded with digital nomads. Now, this in turn led to the Balinese government starting to get a little bit annoyed with the volume of people visiting. But the infrastructure is there. There's amazing internet, great co-working spaces, tons of social events, and the entire place is set up so you really don't have to worry about anything moving there as a digital nomad. Not to mention, the cost of living, much better than you'll find in New York or Miami. Fifth on this list is another personal favorite of mine, and it's Costa Rica. Costa Rica is probably one of the most aesthetically beautiful places on the face of the planet. Whether you want to learn to surf, the beach in Jaco has probably one of the easiest learning breaks you've ever seen, to exploring the jungle in Manuel Antonio down in the south, or going up to Santa Teresa and hanging out with all the surfers. There is so much to explore in Costa Rica. The wildlife is amazing, the people are friendly, and that Pura Vida attitude permeates everything that they do. If you don't know what Pura Vida is, just go to Costa Rica. I'm sure within about 20 minutes, you're gonna figure it out. The only caveat with Costa Rica is from time to time, the internet and power tend to go out depending on where you are in the country. So if you do go there, I would highly recommend bringing a cell phone with a mobile hotspot, because even if the power's out, the mobile infrastructure still works. So if you're trying to get your work done, being able to hotspot yourself, invaluable. Next on the list is a place most people don't consider when being a digital nomad, and that's Canada. Now, if you're American and you're looking for a culture that's not too different to yours, and you want to work the same hours, Canada is actually an amazing place to try. Canada's infrastructure is virtually the same as the US. Oftentimes, if you've got a WeWork membership, you can just go use it up there. And there's plenty to explore. Canada's got its own culture and it's a bit different, but the English is the same. Everything's pretty easy. And the people are super, super, super friendly. And last on this list is one of the most popular digital nomad countries on the face of the planet, and that's Spain. Now, if you've ever spent any time in Spain, it is no wonder why people are flocking to Spain. They've also introduced a digital nomad visa, and we're coming out with videos about how to get each of these digital nomad visas in a little bit, so definitely subscribe and stay tuned. But Spain has some of the best food, best wine, best culture, and so much to explore. From Barcelona to Madrid to Malaga to Marbella, Valencia, all of the cities in Spain have a little bit of a different vibe and a little bit of a different culture. So definitely go explore that country as much as you possibly can. The prices there, pretty reasonable, depending on the city that you go to. Obviously, if you go to the more popular places, it's gonna be a bit more expensive than if you go somewhere off the beaten path. But the infrastructure is there, the internet is good, and there is plenty of accommodation. Now, we picked these 7 places because with a little bit of research, they're particularly easy to get started as a digital nomad. Everything you need is there. You pretty much just need to book your accommodation and show up with your clothes. You'll be able to figure the rest out once you're there. If you want to learn a little bit more about being a digital nomad, learn about specific things that you can do, tips and tricks, destination reviews, and all different kinds of things related to digital nomad lifestyle, definitely subscribe. We've got new stuff coming out all the time. Now get out there and enjoy yourself.